The basement apartment was the only thing I could afford. $600 a month, utilities included. The landlord warned me about the noise. Old building, he said. You'll hear the upstairs neighbors. Just part of living in a basement. The first night was fine. Footsteps above, occasional furniture moving. Normal apartment sounds. I put on headphones, focused on my research, didn't think twice. By the second week, I noticed something strange. The footsteps never stopped. Not at 2 a.m., not at 5 a.m., never. Someone was always moving around up there. Multiple someones. I knocked on the upstairs apartment. A young couple, both worked 9-to-5 jobs. We go to bed by 10, they said. And we try to be quiet. Sorry if we've been loud. But the footsteps I heard were constant, and they weren't from two people. I started counting the footsteps. Different patterns. Different rhythms. Heavy boots. Light heels. A child's running feet. An elderly shuffle. All of them at once. Layered on top of each other. A whole building's worth of footsteps. The landlord avoided my questions. Old building, he kept saying. 60 years of tenants. Sounds get trapped in the bones of a place. He laughed like it was a joke, but he didn't make eye contact. I found records in the building's basement storage. Tenant lists going back to 1962. Hundreds of names. Families, singles, students like me. Some stayed months. Some stayed years. Some had no checkout date at all. Surprised the ones without checkout dates bothered me. 14 names over 60 years. Most in the basement apartment. My apartment. They moved in and never moved out. Not to another address. Not anywhere. I asked the old woman down the hall. She'd lived there since 1978. The basement, she said, here's everything. Every step ever taken in this building. Every door slammed, every word shouted. It all sinks down there. The people who stay too long, she continued. They start hearing more. Further back, not just the current tenants, but the ones before. And before that, all the way down to when the building was new. And then, she wouldn't say what happened after, and then she just looked at my ceiling, her floor, and shook her head. Don't stay past the first year, she said. Once you start hearing the voices, it's too late. I'd been there 6 months. The footsteps had been constant the whole time. But last week, I started hearing voices, muffled conversations from above, arguments, laughter, crying. All at once, overlapping in dozens of different voices. I tried to leave, found another apartment across town. But when I went to pack, I couldn't find the door. My apartment had no door, just walls on all sides. I'd been in there for hours before I realized. The door was there the next morning, exactly where it had always been. I opened it, ran upstairs, knocked on my neighbor's apartment. They looked confused. Who are you? The woman asked. I've never seen you before. I showed her my lease. She stared at it. This address doesn't have a basement apartment, she said. Never has. But I was standing there. I existed. I thought I existed. I went back down. The apartment was waiting for me. The sounds were louder now. Not just footsteps and voices, but everything. Every door closed, every meal cooked, every television turned on over 60 years, all playing at once. And I could see them now, shadows on the ceiling, dozens of them overlapping, people living their lives in different decades, all in the same space. 1962 bleeding into 1975, bleeding into 1998, bleeding into now. I understood then. The basement wasn't below the building. The basement was below time. Every moment that ever happened here filtered down to where I sat, and the people who stayed too long, they became part of the sound. I could hear them. The 14 names without checkout dates. They weren't voices anymore, not exactly. They were undertones, bass notes in the symphony of the building's memory. Still there, still listening, still part of it. Relaxed, it's been 8 months now. The door comes and goes. Sometimes I can leave. Sometimes I can't. The upstairs neighbors change, but their footsteps sound the same. Everything sounds the same when you're at the bottom. I've stopped trying to be heard, stopped knocking on walls. The people above can't hear me anymore. I'm too far down, too deep in the layers of sound. I'm becoming an undertone myself. The old woman hasn't knocked in weeks. Maybe she moved away. Maybe time moved past her while I wasn't looking. Everything's getting harder to track. Yesterday and tomorrow feel the same from down here. Sometimes I hear a new voice, someone moving in above. I want to warn them, tell them not to stay. But my voice just joins the others. Another layer, another sound sinking down into the basement of time. If you ever rent a basement apartment and hear too many footsteps, get out before you start hearing voices. Before the door stops being where you left it. before you become another layer of sound, sinking forever into the foundation of a building that remembers everything.